It's the Hornets Coaches Corner here on Chuck FM Radio. Glad to be carrying the Azle Hornets in the playoffs again this year, thanks to Shannon Hart and his crew. And the Coaches Corner is brought to you by Haley Carter State Farm Insurance. Thanks again to Haley and her great support of the Azle ISD. When we come back after this, we'll hear from Devin Doris and the Coaches Corner on 88.5 FM. Don't forget the game is at 11 o'clock Friday morning from Abilene, live on 88.5 FM. You can also find it on the TuneIn app, a free app. Just go to Chuck FM or at qxfm.com. It's Azle High School football. Back after this. Haley Carter State Farm Insurance is a proud sponsor of Azle Hornet football on Chuck FM. Haley has been with State Farm since 1998. She's a chartered financial consultant and a second-generation State Farm agent. Haley Carter's office is at 408 Boyd Court in Azle. The website is easy to remember, haleycarter.com. Haley Carter State Farm Insurance.
Good morning and welcome to the Azle Hornets Coaches Show. I'm Shannon Hart along with Azle head football coach Devin Doris. We're going to talk a little bit about the Friday game at Abilene Christian University against the Lubbock Coronado Mustangs. It's at 11 o'clock in the morning. Before we get to the game, though, Coach, I want to ask you a personal question, and that is, you graduated from Azle, you played at Azle. How special is it to you to be the head coach of the Azle Hornets? You get to coach with your brother. You have a son that's on the team. Tell me just a little bit about the pride you have in leading the Hornets out every Friday night.
Oh, it's definitely a special opportunity for me. A lot of people, whenever they go get that first head coaching job, they'll take anything they can get. And luckily, I was able to get my first head coaching job at a destination place for me that where I want to raise my family, where I want to raise my kids, where I can give back to the community that helped raise me. So it is very special.
And, I think that is very important because so many coaches, they're always looking for the next job. And I feel like I've been here 20 years, and I feel like that with you, this is the place you want to be, and Azle wants you. Everybody's happy. So I think that leads to a lot of continuity in building the program to the success that you're having this year.
Yeah, I would agree. Consistency is definitely a benefit. Coaching a football team, there's ups and downs. There's roller coaster years. I mean, there's years you're not as good as you would want to be, and there's years that you're good. But consistently, we're going to try to build great young men with character. And if we continue to do that, the wins will take care of themselves, and you'll be happy to look yourself in the mirror every night knowing that you've done your best with these young men, no matter what the record is.
That's awesome. You dropped the season opener to Grapevine. You had a lot of kids in new positions, trying to learn a new offense, had a new quarterback. Now you've won 10 in a row. What's the secret to putting together an extended winning streak like that?
I think that we have adopted kind of a motto this year of playing a faceless opponent. And so we don't really care who our opponent is. We're going to focus on the Hornets and getting the Hornets better every single week. And our kids have really bought into that. And so if we're focusing on us and not necessarily our opponents, then we don't even pay attention to how many games we've won in a row. We haven't talked about that once. This is probably the first time I've even thought about how many games we've won in a row. We've really been just focusing on us and improving us every single practice, getting better, and just enjoying being a part of this season and enjoying kind of going through the process of getting better.
Well, and I think success breeds success, and once you've won 2 in a row, 3 in a row, it becomes easier to put together the 4 or 5.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, we knew that we had some talent, and we knew that we had a group of kids that could be really special, but we needed some confidence. And once we started to develop some confidence, we were able to perform a little better with some confidence, and knowing that what we've been teaching and what we've been talking about and what we've been doing actually has some merit to it. And so it continues to build upon that because you have seen the success happen.
Well, it's always good to teach these young men what it is you want them to do, and then see them take that out onto the field and to do it like you've taught them. With that being said, like I said, I've watched Azle football for almost 20 years, and it seems to me, as an outsider looking in, this is the best tackling team that I've ever seen Azle put together out on the field. Are you doing anything differently with this group of kids, or is it just you just got a good group of kids that know what to do and they go out and perform simple tasks like tackling?
Well, we have a talented group. I mean, they have some speed and they have some athletic ability. There's no doubt. We have been working in tackling circuit, and our defensive coaches do an excellent job of focusing on the fundamentals of tackling 2 to 3 days a week, going through a circuit and making sure those kids are working it. Our coaches have done a really good job of putting together basically the drills and then tagging those plays in games where you see those drills come to life. And when the kids get to see those drills happening in a game-like atmosphere and those tackles being made, they see that what we're doing is paying off. And I think a lot of it is a combination of our coaching staff and the talent that we have and the speed that we're able to put on the field this year.
And I think once these kids see the success that you're having as a team and as individuals, it's easier to buy in. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, look at what we're doing. It is working. And you can see that each and every week. Coach, I know comparing teams year after year is like comparing kids. It's hard to do, but you can't help but think back a few years ago to the great team you had with Jamie King and with Johnny Crow and those guys. It seems to me that this team has a lot more offensive weapons than that team. That team relied a lot on Chase Smith, hand the ball to him, throw the ball when we needed to. You had that massive offensive line back then. How would you agree that this team is a little bit more well-rounded as far as having more offensive weapons? And how nice is that to have so many different weapons?
Yeah, I would say going into the season, we felt like we had the best receiving core that we've ever had. We had 8 receivers that could all make plays and that could all come in the game, and you didn't feel like there would be a drop off. And so I would say talent-wise at the receiver position is the best we've ever had. And so, we've had some injuries, but we've still been able to perform even with some of those injuries at the receiver position. I think in that 2014 team, we had some injuries in our receiving core, and we were not able to truly fill those voids that those kids left whenever they were injured. But this group is it's about as much speed as we've been able to put on the field as an Azle Hornets as a whole, I would say. And so that's the difference. That team back there was physical. They knew they were physical. They had a physical mindset. This group right here has been really special to coach because of the energy and the enthusiasm and the passion for the game that they bring. And it's just different, but I do think that we have quite a few bullets in the chamber, so to speak, this year with the receiving core that we have.
Have you been surprised at how many points you've put up this year? You've had a lot of games in the 40s, low 50s.
Yeah, I think that early in the season we didn't click very well. I think we scored like 17 or 14 versus Grapevine, and then we beat Wichita Falls Rider where we scored 20. And then from that point on, our quarterback just continued to gain confidence and realized when he should run and when he should throw, and the execution of the offense has gotten better. And then the more that we've executed the simple stuff, the more we've been able to add wrinkles in here and there to help the offensive scheme out and the kids out. Surprised? No, I'm not surprised, I wouldn't say, but I'd sure like to keep doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Couple more questions here. First of all, the game's at 11 o'clock Friday morning. What do you have to do as a coaching staff differently to prepare the kids for an 11 a.m. start as opposed to, a 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Friday night start?
Sure. We practice in the morning all the time. So our usual practice times are in the morning. So as far as our kids getting up early and being prepared to go out and get something done fairly early, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think the biggest issue is going to be the sun, dealing with the sun. We've got the kids some eye black patches in case they need eye black. We've got to practice this week in the sun, catching punts and kicks. I think that's the biggest thing, catching punts and kicks with the sun in your eyes possibly. So really, other than that, we just talked to them about the differences of it. But this group has been really special. I mean, we've gone through rain delays where we've gone out at 9 o'clock and started a game. We've gone out and started a game and then had to come back in. We've And every time that the whistle's blown, they've answered the bell, and so I think that we'll be ready to play at 11 a.m. I wouldn't care when we played, but 11 a.m. is the time we got, and we'll be ready to play.
Awesome. And finally, Coach, just tell us a little bit about excuse me, Lubbock Coronado, maybe what the fans can expect to see offensively, defensively. I know they've had a really good season. I think they've lost one game, is maybe two, but they've had a good season. Tell us what we can expect to see Friday morning.
From the offensive side, they are extremely well coached in what I would call the air raid system, the Texas Tech throwing system. They throw the ball all over the yard. They throw the ball about 70% of the time. They have a really good quarterback that is a young kid, but he's a big kid, and he's been able to get better throughout the year at delivering the ball to the right person. Schematically, offensively, they don't run a ton of passing plays, but all the kids catch the ball. So the quarterback has been able to really go through his progressions and know where to get the ball versus certain coverages. They have a really talented outside wide receiver. They will move him around some inside, and running back and even quarterback every now and then. He is a TCU commit. He's an extreme talent. So they'll try to force feed him the ball at times just to get him some touches. But other than that, they're a well-rounded throwing team. They will run the football, but I think the majority of their yards this year has come off the pass. Defensively, they're a 4-3. They'll line up with 4 down linemen with their hand in the ground, and they'll come after you. They're really athletic up front. They've had some injuries at the linebacking core. They've kind of had a revolving door there, but those kids have responded, and they've put in some good ones, and they're playing well. In the secondary, it might be one of the more athletic secondaries we've played in a while. So there'll be a challenge. There'll be a challenge, no doubt. They put a lot of speed on the defensive side of the football, and try to keep that quarterback contained with four guys, and use the others to make the tackles. But I think it's going to be a great challenge for us, but I definitely look forward to it, and I think our kids will be ready.
Well, we look forward to it. That's Coach Devin Doris, the head football coach with the Azle Hornets. This has been the Azle Hornets Coaching Show. Coach, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll get to do this again next week.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you.
You bet.